Usually, when we talk about changing our lives, there is a massive expectation to grind it out. The modern internet heavily pushes a narrative that transforming who you are requires a dramatic, cinematic montage of exhausting effort. We have all tried the go hard or go home mentality. You decide to be a runner, set your alarm for 4 a.m., buy the ridiculously expensive shoes, and overhaul your diet overnight. Most people go hard for about 3 days before the exhaustion kicks in, and they find themselves back on the couch, right where they started. That boom and bust cycle is the result of a conflict between two distinct characters operating inside your brain. You have the analytical, forward-thinking wise planner and the routine-driven, comfort-seeking, impulsive inner toddler. The planner knows you need to read more or save money, but it is easily distracted by the appearance of progress. We spend hours researching the optimized gratitude journal or comparing paperweights for a new planner. You feel productive in those hours, but you haven't actually executed the habit. Relying solely on the WISE planner for daily execution demands an unsustainable amount of executive function. Eventually, your supply of daily willpower simply runs dry. Failing to transform your life is not a character flaw. It is a predictable mechanical failure, the mathematical guarantee of a strategy that completely ignores human neurology. Deep inside your brain sits the amygdala. It is a primitive threat detection center, and its primary evolutionary goal is to conserve your energy and maintain homeostasis. To the brain, predictability equals safety. The amygdala cannot distinguish between a physical mortal threat and an emotional one. This diagram illustrates the glitch. To this primitive alarm system, a saber-toothed tiger stepping out of the bushes looks exactly like the audacious goal of paying off $100,000 in debt this year. When the amygdala detects a massive proposed change to your equilibrium, it triggers a freeze response. This is the biological reality of procrastination. It is an involuntary defense mechanism designed to protect your body's current state from perceived danger. However, a 1% microstep is so infinitesimally tiny that it falls below the amygdala's threat detection threshold. Because the change is so small, the brain does not register it as a threat to its survival. Setting a goal to do exactly one push-up or read one sentence is a task the impulsive toddler can handle without hesitation. You are completing the action without ever waking up the brain's internal alarm system. Making progress requires a willingness to insult your own ego. You have to set goals so ridiculously small that your biological guards stay completely asleep. This strategy for overcoming resistance scales from the individual to global history. During World War II, the U.S. government faced a logistical nightmare. They had to rapidly boost military production without the time to build new factories. Instead of demanding a total system overhaul that would risk strikes or failures, the government's Training Within Industry program asked workers a simple question: what is one tiny thing that would make your specific job 1% easier today? After the war, this philosophy was brought to Japan, where it was internalized as Kaizen, continuous improvement. It became the bedrock of the Toyota production system, allowing Japanese automakers to eventually outproduce the rest of the world using fewer resources. The goal was the elimination of muda, or waste. This began with Sakichi Toyota's automatic loom, which was designed to stop instantly if a single thread broke. By catching errors immediately, the machine ensured that no time or material was wasted on defective products. While American corporations became obsessed with the high-risk home run of radical innovation, Japanese companies dedicated themselves to the unglamorous daily work of hitting singles. Over decades, those microscopic improvements compounded into an unbeatable competitive advantage. The math of Kaizen is staggering. Getting 1% better daily means by year's end you are 37 times better. But that 1% is virtually imperceptible at first. Saving $3 today doesn't make you feel rich, which causes most people to quit. This struggle is reflected in your biology. Executing a new habit is physically taxing, like hacking your way through a dense prehistoric jungle. It requires an immense amount of caloric and mental energy, using a dull blade. But as you repeat the behavior, you trample down the plants. Over time, that trail becomes a dirt path, then a paved street. This is the process of myelination, the brain physically reinforcing neural pathways so electrical signals travel faster and more efficiently. Consistent repetition of these trivial actions is what allows those paths to stabilize, physically changing how the brain handles the effort until the behavior becomes nearly automatic. To maintain this momentum, you need a scientific engine, the PDCA cycle. By planning a micro-change, doing a short test, checking the data, and acting to standardize what works, you remove raw emotion from the process of self-improvement. You must also identify your bottleneck. In a 4-lane highway that merges into one, adding extra lanes before the merge point provides zero systemic benefit. If your bottleneck is an energy crash at 6 p.m., buying expensive gym clothes won't help you work out. You have to widen the merge point. Most of us try to improve by adding new habits, but targeting everyday waste is often more effective. This improvement by subtraction focuses on eliminating the mental waste of task switching or the overprocessing of tasks that add no actual value to the end result. To find these constraints, you must measure backward. Instead of setting goals based on an idealized version of yourself, look at the hard data of your actual past week. Confront your current reality and aim for a 1% improvement from where you actually stand. There's no static finish line where a habit is solved forever. These systems require continuous maintenance to prevent old neural pathways from reclaiming the jungle. Abandon the myth of the massive leap. Instead, learn to embrace the boredom of doing the fundamentals just 1% better. It is the most radical thing you can do for your future self.